Are you ready to uncover the darkest secrets of antiquity? Today we embark on an extraordinary journey into the deep gnosis of the most feared and formidable gods worshipped by the ancient Canaanites. These deities, both feared and revered, left a legacy of terror and enigma that continues to echo through time. The Canaanites, an ancient civilization that inhabited the Levant region, worshipped gods that were neither compassionate nor merciful. These powerful entities demanded sacrifices and ruled over their followers with unrelenting force. Over time, these deities became associated with demonology, labeled as dark and malevolent forces. Their worship was shrouded in esoteric practices and gruesome rituals, designed to either appease their wrath or gain their favor, but always at an immense cost. Today we will unveil these hidden secrets, exploring the myths and horrifying truths surrounding these Canaanite deities. Who were these gods? What kind of power did they wield over their devotees? And what lessons can we extract from their ominous and enigmatic cults? Prepare yourself for a descent into the abyss of the most sinister esoteric traditions. Each revelation will pull us deeper into the mind and soul of the ancient Canaanites, unraveling knowledge that challenges our modern understanding of divinity, morality, and the limits of human devotion. Moloch, the feared god of child sacrifice. Imagine a dark and ominous valley on the outskirts of Jerusalem. In this place, known as the Valley of Ben Hinnom, the ancient Canaanites carried out rituals that today seem unimaginable. Horrifying sacrifices in honor of a feared deity, Moloch. Moloch, mentioned in biblical texts as a god to whom human sacrifices were made, remains shrouded in mystery and horror. Though his name echoes through sacred scriptures, archaeological evidence about him remains scarce. Derived from the Hebrew word melech, meaning king, Moloch was a figure of overwhelming authority and dark power. Some theories suggest that Moloch was not a distinct god, but rather an epithet used for various deities associated with child sacrifice. Others propose that he was an alternate name for Baal Hadad, the storm god, or an entity connected to both Baal and the Ammonite deity Milcom. What is certain is that his worship was accompanied by gruesome rituals. One of the most terrifying aspects of Moloch's cult was the practice known as passing through the fire. Infants and young children were offered as burnt sacrifices in a sanctuary called Tophet, just outside Jerusalem's walls. Some speculate that even the ancient Judeans might have believed they were sacrificing to Yahweh. These rituals were vehemently condemned by biblical prophets, who regarded them as an abomination. Similar practices were carried out in Carthage, a city founded by Phoenician settlers. There, sacred groves and temples housed chilling ceremonies, hinting at a cultural connection between Canaanite and Carthaginian religious rites. Moloch is also associated with the infamous brazen bull, a horrific torture device allegedly used in ancient Sicily. Victims were locked inside a hollow bronze bull, and a fire was set beneath it. The heat would cause the metal to glow red-hot, roasting the victims alive as their screams echoed through specially designed tubes, mimicking the sound of a raging bull. Even today, Moloch remains a symbol of fascination and fear. Some conspiracy theories suggest that modern elites continue to worship him in secret societies, such as the infamous Bohemian Club, where dark rituals and clandestine gatherings are rumored to take place. If you're interested in exploring these theories further, let us know, and we may delve deeper into them in a future video. Mot, the insatiable god of death. Mot, also known as Moeth, was the Canaanite god of death and the underworld, a relentless force that consumed both mortals and deities alike. He was feared for his insatiable hunger and his ability to drag even the mightiest beings into his abyss. Depictions of Mot often describe a grotesque skeletal figure with withered dry skin stretched over his prominent bones. His sunken eyes are like bottomless pits, and his disproportionately large mouth, filled with rows of blade-like teeth, is always open, ready to devour anything in his path. His very presence exudes the stench of decay, making him one of the most feared figures in the Canaanite pantheon. Mot's most famous myth involves his battle with Baal, the storm god. In this tale, Mot challenges Baal and drags him into the underworld, causing devastating droughts on Earth. Their battle represents the eternal struggle between life and death, fertility and desolation. Though Baal is ultimately resurrected, Mot's presence remains as a constant reminder that death is inevitable and inescapable. The underworld over which Mot ruled was a feared and desolate place, filled with shadows and restless spirits. The Canaanites performed intricate and often disturbing rituals to appease him, hoping to ward off untimely deaths and pestilence. He was the embodiment of the harsh realities of existence, a force that none could escape. Baal, the lord of storms and fertility. Baal, one of the most prominent gods of the Canaanite pantheon, was a deity of storms, fertility, and agriculture. Revered for his power over the natural elements, he was both a bringer of prosperity and a harbinger of destruction. The Canaanites depended on Baal to bring rain and ensure bountiful harvests. However, in times of drought or catastrophe, rituals in his honor could take a brutal turn. To regain his favor, human sacrifices, often children, were performed, a desperate plea for divine intervention. Though originally worshipped as a benevolent provider, Baal's image was later demonized in biblical texts and medieval demonology. He was transformed from a god of life into an infernal figure, a ruler of hell itself, often depicted as a monstrous entity with multiple heads symbolizing his immense power. Resheph, the god of plague and war. Resheph, the god of plague and war, was both feared and respected by the Canaanites. His presence signified disease, destruction, and unrelenting chaos. Often depicted as a fierce warrior with fiery eyes and a deadly bow, Resheph was believed to unleash devastating plagues upon those who displeased him. His arrows, described as poisoned, symbolized the rapid spread of disease and suffering. His influence extended beyond Canaan, as he was mentioned in Egyptian and Ugaritic texts, solidifying his reputation as a bringer of calamity. Anat, the bloodthirsty warrior goddess. Anat, sister of Baal, was a warrior goddess renowned for her brutality and thirst for blood. Unlike other deities who granted protection, Anat reveled in carnage. Myths describe her slaughtering entire armies and adorning her temple with the severed heads of her enemies. She was also depicted as bathing in the blood of the vanquished, a ritual symbolizing her purification and readiness for future battles. Despite her fierce nature, Anat was also a protector, invoked to defend cities and warriors in times of conflict. Conclusion: the Canaanite pantheon was filled with gods of immense power and terrifying cruelty. Moloch, Baal, Mot, Resheph, and Anat each represented different facets of life's duality: creation and destruction, hope and despair, life and death. These deities, though monstrous in their rituals and demands, reflected the brutal reality of existence for the ancient Canaanites. Their worshippers sought to understand and control the uncontrollable forces of nature, using devotion, sacrifice, and ritual to navigate the perilous balance between survival and oblivion. If you found this journey through the Canaanite deities fascinating, subscribe and like this video for more deep dives into esoteric and dark history. See you in the next exploration.